Chapter 2. We dragged Daisy, still kicking wildly, out of the bus and into the stable, which we had padded with straw. After trying unsuccessfully to escape, she just stood there staring at us, obviously disturbed. Rutherford said we should leave her alone for a few hours while she got used to her surroundings. That evening we peeped in and found her just standing there motionless and looking miserable. The next morning we raced to the stables to find her standing in the same place. Rutherford said she would have to drink by the following morning or she would die from lack of water. All day we sat taking turns holding out the pan of milk and talking to her. Of course, she had never seen a pan before and didn't know what to do with it. And she wanted nothing to do with it and would not drink. As the day wore on, she looked even more unhappy. We were so worried. At dawn, we raced to her to find her so weak she couldn't even stand up. I started to cry, and Daisy actually had a tear in her eye, too. Oh, can you see it? I could imagine her asking, "Why can't I run in the sunshine and sleep near my mother and drink her good milk? Where is she? Who are all these strange creatures who don't look like giraffes at all?" Yet I knew if we hadn't captured her, she would probably be dead within a year. 49 hours passed, and I feared she was going to die right then. But suddenly, for no apparent reason, she got to her feet, walked to the bowl of milk that Jock was holding, and put her face in it and drank, and drank, and drank. She kind of seemed surprised it was milk. She licked her mouth and nose and then looked at Jock, bent down, and kissed him. And from that minute on, Jock was her mom. Then she investigated her hands and put her head close to ours and sniffed us. We spoke softly to her all the time, but we didn't try to touch her. And then we gave her some more milk. She sucked at it, sort of drank it really fast. Almost sounded like a crazy vacuum cleaner. It would be all over her face and up her nostrils, but she'd just stick out her long purple tongue, poke it up her nose, and clean it up. Then she'd drink some more, and spluttering, she'd spray us thoroughly. Since the milk had lots of cod liver oil in it, in no time, Jock and I smelled terrible. The next morning when we walked to her stable, she had her leg out on the top half of the door, trying to get to him for more milk. After she let us stroke her face and ears, she felt as soft as velvet. Oh, look at this photograph. We picked her some thorn tree branches that had yellow flowers blooming on them. She recognized those as her favorite food, and she nibbled away. Watching your baby giraffe eating yellow flowers is like watching a real live birthday card. Vets and scientists had warned us of the difficulties we would have raising a giraffe. Although other people in Kenya had tried, none had done it. A doctor of zoology who had raised many wild animals, but not giraffe, told us the most important thing is just to love her. He told us about a baby, a species of antelope, extremely difficult to raise, that he had seen living in a garage, hopping about the spare parts and the rusty wrecks of cars. The African had found the very little thing abandoned and fed it and took care of him everywhere. When they asked what he fed it, the mechanic told him, whatever he ate himself. If he ate a donut, well, he'd feed the antelope a donut or a sandwich. Sometimes some soup. It was then that the doctor, who had tried and tried to take a steenbok antelope with vitamins and calcium and other drugs, suddenly realized wild animals need love as much as food if they are going to survive. They must relate to one person. They must be loved. Then they will imprint and live. Imprint is when an animal feels attached or bonded to another. Well, that was going to be Jock. Jock was Daisy's mom. So we had hope. The next morning, with the help of about 6 other men, we got Daisy sitting in the minibus for her journey to Nairobi. At one point, Jock drove into a gas station. You can imagine the surprise on the worker's face when he saw a giraffe in the minibus. We didn't have enough money to go to game parks, and he had never seen a giraffe before, and he thanked us for getting to see her for the first time. We finally pulled into our own driveway and parked near Daisy's pen, which we had built for her. We slid out and untied her fetters. Slowly and stiffly she stood up, and we gave her a gentle shove into her home. Immediately she accepted some warm milk from Jock. It was kind of chilly in Nairobi, so in the back of our car that we found a blanket that was torn and ragged and kind of smelled yucky, but we hung it in the corner of her stall to block out some of the cold. Well, she fell in love with that old blanket at once. And years she wouldn't let it go, and she rubbed against it, hid behind it, played peekaboo from behind, over and under it, and truly loved that awful tattered thing. Again, love played a part in making Daisy happy.